Full-frame DSLR users now have a budget handheld 3-axis gimbal not only for stabilized smooth shots, but also for motion time lapses. Today I'll show you how to set up your camera and gimbal for a POV motion night lapse, as you saw in the intro. So I'll take you through the following. What you'll need: a pre-timelapse checklist, setting up a motion time lapse in the ZY Play app, and setting up your camera. Alright, so here's what you'll need: the Crane Plus gimbal, your DSLR camera with a lens. In this case, I'm using the Nikon D750 and a 50mm lens, but whichever combo can balance on the gimbal, and I think it's applicable to Nikon D850 as well. A stable, even surface, or a tripod, and a smartphone with a picture of a cute puppy. I'm just kidding. Aww. But in all seriousness, you'll need the ZY Play app. And I almost forgot to mention that the D750 or D850 has a built-in intervalometer. And for other type of time lapses that have more light in the scene, an ND filter is recommended to reduce overexposure and set the desired shutter speed to produce motion blur. Alright, so let's set up the gimbal and app. Turn on the gimbal, and after you downloaded the ZY Play app from the App Store, launch the application, connect via Bluetooth on your phone, and select the Crane option. Now if this message pops up, just go to the ZY Play settings and make the two adjustments as shown. Now the ZY Play app needs to remain on the phone screen during the time lapse. So in your phone settings, make sure the auto lock is set to never, or just make sure the phone doesn't fall asleep on you, or else the time lapse will stop. Now back in the ZY Play app, click on this icon and select strong. This is the motor setting to support your large DSLR. Also, set the camera manufacturer to none. Next, click on this icon, then select motion time-lapse, and in here, you can program the path you want the gimbal to move. Using the slider, I can adjust the roll. Here I selected about -25 degrees, and then clicked add for position A. Then scroll to +25 degrees, and then click add for position B. Click next, and here's the settings that I used. Now let's set up the camera. This is applicable to Nikon D750 DSLR users and may be used for Nikon D850 as well. I have the following settings. Note, it depends on the subject scene you are shooting. For example, daytime, city, cars, people versus nighttime, versus sunrise, sunset, versus fast or slow moving clouds, versus astrophotography. In this particular case, however, we are doing a dynamic night lapse. So here it is. So for the camera, put the settings on manual: shutter speed, the f-stop, focus, the ISO, and there's two ways to do a time lapse for the Nikon bodies. There's interval timer shooting in the photo shooting menu and time-lapse photography in the movie shooting menu. So we'll go over the time-lapse photography in the shooting menu. So in the movie shooting menu, change the white balance to manual, or pre, which is preset manual, which is the same as the photo settings. Then scroll down to high ISO noise reduction, turn it off, and in the time-lapse photography mode, here are the parameters that I selected for the interval: 5 seconds, for shooting time, which is 10 minutes. Now go back to your phone and start the program you've set on the app. The gimbal should now move into position A, then press start on your camera. Now sit back or lay down and relax for a few. No, I'm just kidding. Go watch your camera and gimbal, those expensive stuff, oh my gosh. After it's done, it should look something like this. This is the raw video made by the DSLR camera, automatically combining the images in sequence. Not sure why it was a bit jerky. There was a stranger that walked across right in front of the camera during the time lapse. The person did not even bother to duck or something. Oh, with that being said, I did notice that the camera's mounting screw came a bit loose, so keep an eye out for that when you're doing these time lapses. So if you want full control over editing your time lapse, shoot using the interval timer shooting mode in the photo shooting menu. Make sure your images are being saved as RAW files, then check to make sure white balance is set to manual, vignette control is turned off, as well as the high ISO noise reduction. Here's the settings I used: 2-second intervals with a total of 300 images. The gimbal will have the same settings as before in the app, except the time interval, which is 3 seconds. Since in this mode the images are saved as individual RAW files, You'll need to use a software like After Effects or Adobe Premiere or similar to stitch the photos. I'll include links in the description below for video tutorials. So after stitching, color adjustment, and a little bit of warp stabilization, here's the time-lapse video. Alright, just to summarize and some additional tips, make sure you bring all your appropriate gear with you to do the time lapse. All batteries must be fully charged, your camera, gimbal phone, and make sure you have the ZY app downloaded. Bring a sturdy tripod. Please invest in a good tripod, and if needed, if there's some light leaks, use some gaffer tape to cover up the viewfinder. It might be that's the culprit. Also bring snacks and a tire for the weather. It was super cold out when I had a chance to take some time lapses. Later that evening my hands were like freezing, and I did bring gloves and bundle up, but still, please wear the appropriate attire. The ZY Play app also has an option preset to save your settings, and don't forget that there's 2 modes on the DSLR for time-lapse, that time-lapse photography mode, which is super easy, but post-editing is limited, and then the second one is the interval timer shooting mode. It does require stitching afterwards, but it does capture more information on light intensity and colors in that large-sized raw files that it saves in, which you can use to edit later to your heart's desire. Most of all, do test shots, adjust settings if needed, and stay positive and enjoy the footage that you get. Also, there's plenty of websites and sources online for additional help on night lapses or other time lapses per se that include, but is not limited to, deflickering, photo stitching, time-lapse calculators, and more step-by-step tutorials. I'll include some links in the description below. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope this has helped you go out and shoot more POV motion time lapses. A like is appreciated, and if you like it a lot, double thumbs up. I do more reviews, tips, montages on anything bokeh-licious, tech-licious, fit-licious. Please do subscribe. This is Azel3D. Stay awesome, happy almost weekend, and looking forward to seeing you all in the next one.